The gift of forgiveness. In a small village nestled between rolling hills, there lived a young woman named Grace. Her name, though beautiful, was not a reflection of her life. Grace carried a heavy burden in her heart, resentment and anger towards her father, Thomas. Years ago, when she was just a little girl, Thomas had walked out on the family. He left without a word, and in his absence, Grace and her mother had struggled. Her mother worked tirelessly to provide for them, but the absence of her father left a wound in Grace's heart. Over time, her bitterness grew. She couldn't understand why her father had abandoned them, and she couldn't bring herself to forgive him. The years passed, and Grace became an adult. She moved to a nearby town, found a job, and tried to move on. Yet the unresolved hurt remained, festering deep within her. She would occasionally hear rumors of her father, how he had remarried, had other children, and seemed to have moved on with his life. But Grace could never bring herself to forgive him. The wound was too deep. One evening, after attending a service at the village church, Grace found herself sitting in the pew, her thoughts heavy. The pastor had been preaching on the power of forgiveness, drawing from the words of Jesus on the cross. "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." The message was simple but profound. Jesus had forgiven those who had betrayed and hurt him, not because they deserved it, but because forgiveness is a gift, something we offer freely, just as God offers his forgiveness to us. As Grace sat there, the weight of the message began to settle over her like a quiet rain. She thought about her own life and how much grace she had received from God, grace that she didn't deserve. The words of the Lord's Prayer echoed in her mind. "Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us." She had asked for God's forgiveness countless times, but had never truly given it in return. After the service, Grace found herself walking to the cemetery. It was a quiet evening, and the air was crisp. Her feet took her to the far corner, where her father's grave was marked with a simple stone. She knelt beside it, the weight of the years between them pressing down on her chest. "Dad," she whispered, her voice trembling. "I don't know if you ever realized how much your leaving hurt me, how much it shaped who I've become. But I'm tired of carrying this. I forgive you." In that moment, something inside her shifted. It wasn't an instant rush of emotion, but a quiet, steady release. She knew that forgiveness wasn't about forgetting or excusing what had happened. It was about choosing to let go of the bitterness that had held her captive. She was no longer willing to let her father's absence control her. As Grace stood and walked away from the grave, she felt a sense of peace she hadn't known in years. She realized that forgiveness, though difficult, was not a one-time event. It was a daily choice, an ongoing act of surrender to God's love. And though she couldn't change the past, she could choose to walk in the freedom that forgiveness offered. A few weeks later, Grace received a letter from her father. It was an apology, one that Thomas had written but never sent. In it, he confessed his regret and asked for her forgiveness. Though the letter was long overdue, it was a confirmation of the healing that had already begun in her heart. Grace didn't hold on to the pain anymore. She had learned that forgiveness was not just a gift she gave to others. It was a gift to herself. In choosing to forgive, she had opened her heart to the peace and grace of God. And as she stepped forward, she knew that she had taken another step closer to becoming the person God had always intended her to be. Through forgiveness, Grace had discovered that the chains of resentment could be broken. And in the end, she realized that forgiveness was the truest form of love. A love that transcended all wounds and restored her to a place of peace. If you are still here, please comment. I have forgiven all that hurts me. Please like, share, and follow for more content like this. God bless you.